It just got so much worse. In the wake of one of the craziest, most outrageous trades in Dallas Mavericks history, arguably in the history of the NBA, of sending away Luka Doncic in return for Anthony Davis, we have received a boatload of new information just this morning surrounding the entire situation. So in this video, we're going to talk about how did Luka Doncic feel when he got the news that he got traded, how does Mark Cuban feel about it as he's finally spoken up, as well as how did Nico Harrison in the front office really feel about Luka Doncic. But how's it going, everybody? My name is Marcel Martin. This is Mavs Digest, bringing you latest news on everything Mavericks related. And before we get started with today's video, some good news in the midst of all this crazy tragedy, I guess. We did hit 18,000 subscribers. I just want to say thank you guys so much for tuning into all these videos, for subscribing, liking, sharing, doing all those great things that I love that you do. We're going to be covering the Mavericks every single step of the way between now until forever. But for right now, we're going to be covering every little thing that comes out regarding this trade deadline, Luka Doncic, and anybody else that may be involved. So if you want to be up to date on everything that we do, make sure you subscribe, and I'd appreciate it greatly. But the Dallas Mavericks, the trade is a done deal. It cannot be vetoed by the commissioner. Luka Doncic is a Los Angeles Laker, and Anthony Davis is now a Dallas Maverick. Luka Doncic did arrive in Los Angeles just last night for his physical, and we should be seeing Anthony Davis either today or this evening for his own physical with the Dallas Mavericks organization, along with Max Christie. There is very little to no chance that anything goes wrong with their physicals and the trade gets reversed, and even if they do fail their physicals, I'm sure something will be amended so this does go through. And with the information that we did find out this morning around Nico Harrison and how they really felt about Luka, it seems like even if this did in some crazy world get reversed, it would still happen in some way, shape, or form, as the team was apparently over Luka Doncic. If we start with this news right here, the Mavs blog tweeted out saying, a person close to the situation described this trade as the ultimate Harrison power trip, calling him a power-hungry man. Another observer said Harrison removed anyone who held a different view. This is absolutely wild. And we all know Nico Harrison as a pretty nice guy before this weekend. We all thought he was a nice guy, a smart GM who had connections because he worked with Nike, he knew players, he was going to help build this team into a dynasty. He got his Kyrie Irving, went out got Klay Thompson, many other players. But for the most part, he has been soft-spoken. We don't really see too much from him or hear too much, but he always appeared to be a nice guy. But now, after this whole debacle in the situation with Luka Doncic, and with these new reports coming out, shows a completely different side of Nico Harrison. A power-hungry man, going on a power trip. Not that he's self-centered and he wants to do everything his way, although that's the truth. In his eyes, he's doing everything right for the organization to win a championship. But when you get rid of a player like Luka Doncic, who has been beloved by the entire organization, the fans, the city of Dallas, it's very hard to believe that anybody thinks that you want what's best for this organization. And knowing that people that were surrounded by Luka, that were there for Luka, have also been removed, shows that Nico Harrison and the other people in the front office were potentially tired of Luka Doncic. And if we continue with the reports, after reading Iztalk's piece, I'm even more heartbroken. Nico Harrison forced out everyone around Luka. Casey Smith, Igor, Marco, and I'm sorry for mispronouncing his name, but Anzi, as well as Javier Barrio Calvo, and then forced Luka out himself. As we all know, Luka Doncic came here as a young 18-year-old from Slovenia, and obviously there are going to be people that he surrounded himself with that the organization was okay with having around him to make himself feel more at home. And although he has grown to think of Dallas as a secondary home, obviously players like Giannis Antetokounmpo, who obviously needs his brother Thanasis alongside him, otherwise he can't really play basketball that well. The same can be said for Luka Doncic and many other players that come overseas. They do have a confidant or another person, player, friends, or family that they keep around them just to make them feel more comfortable. But if the front office were tired of Luka, if they were already done with him and wanting him gone, the first thing they're going to do is get rid of the people surrounding him. And with this other reports, it just adds up to all of it. The Mavericks were reportedly over Luka Doncic per the Stein line. With Doncic, meanwhile, one phrase you keep hearing basically is that the Mavericks are over him. Dallas has likewise said to have cooled on his star's insistence on hiring his own team of training experts, even though it was done at his own expense, to handle the bulk of his medical and nutritional needs separate from the club starting with the 2023 2024 season. The season we made it to the NBA Finals. The front office was tired and they were done with Luka Doncic. And although a lot of us are very emotional about this trade, myself included, I gotta think more logically, and I'm about to play devil's advocate because I understand the frustration of the front office. If what Nico Harrison and everybody's saying is true, that the number one reason that they traded Luka was because of his unwillingness to come into the season healthy and in shape, he's pushing 270, he keeps getting injured because of his lack of conditioning, and yes, if those are the reasons that you want to get rid of him, then this makes sense. He has his own team of trainers, his own team of nutritionists. He doesn't trust the team and what they have. He has his own team, and even if he is paying out of pocket, if that's the case, cool. Make sure that you're up to the standards that the Mavericks have set for you because they are paying you. And although people argue that even though Luka's out of shape and he isn't really the same as he was when he first got here, he's still putting up triple doubles, 30 point, 40 point. He had 73 points last season against the Atlanta Hawks. So why does it matter if he's out of shape? But we have to be honest with ourselves and we have to live in reality. If the organization allows someone like Luka Doncic to have his own team of trainers, I'll throw the graphic back up, his own team of trainers, experts, and nutritionists, then you should be able to be at the same standards that we would set for you if you used our trainers, experts, and nutritionists. But that wasn't the case. The reports came out that Luka Doncic was pushing 270 while injured ever since Christmas. So while he's been out, he hasn't been eating healthier. He hasn't been losing weight. And we know that over the summer when he had that weird calf strain that he always seems to have, they even delayed his his return for another week so he could try and get in shape, and that still didn't help. Again, we're emotional. We don't like it. I don't like this trade, but I understand the front office. If you have a standard set and you want to go your own way and you still don't meet those standards, it seems like the Dallas Mavericks front office, they were tired of him. They were over Luka Doncic. And if we follow more reports here from Shams, the Mavericks are making a bet against his body. I'm told that there's been some level of friction between Doncic and the team's medical performance staff over the last year or so. And again, that just adds to all the reports that we've been seeing, and especially from Shams, that they were tired of Luka and his own personal team not getting Luka to the standards that they have set. The only thing that I would argue is how hard did the organization really try with Luka? How hard did you beat it into his head, although you probably shouldn't have to, he's a grown man, but how hard did you beat it into his head that you have to do this? I'm led to believe that they let Luka think that everything was fine and dandy on the front, that nothing's really wrong. They think that I'm doing a good job. But behind closed doors, Nico Harrison and the entire front office are having secret meetings saying that they're tired of him, they're over him, they want him gone. And if we follow more reports, there's a whole lot of information. Luka Doncic bought a $15 million home last week in Dallas, according to Chandler Parsons. He also said Luka was crying the moment he found out he got traded, which goes to show that anybody who thinks that Luka Doncic didn't want to be here, that Luka Doncic wanted to go to LA, that Luka Doncic was tired of the organization, the fans, that's not true. While you are injured and it's right before the trade deadline, you buy a $15 million home, you believe that you are going to be here for the rest of your career, arguably the rest of your life, really. That shows that he wanted to be here. Whether or not he took care of his body, whether or not he took his conditioning serious, he knew that he was going to be committed, that he didn't want to go anywhere else. Nico Harrison and everybody else saying that they were worried that Luka Doncic would leave if we did not offer him the supermax of $300 million. But it shows that Luka was willing to spend $15 million to stay here even longer. And the fact that he cried when he heard the news shows you how hurt he really was. But Luka Doncic wasn't the only one that was hurt when he first heard the news. As our old majority owner, Mark Cuban himself, this was from Chandler Parsons, who said, I text Mark Cuban and I said, I'm so confused. He wrote back, that makes two of us. Chandler Parsons says Mark Cuban was confused by the Luka Doncic-Anthony Davis trade. And obviously, Mark Cuban is a minority owner. He cannot outrightly say he is against this. He can't say he hates Nico, that he wants him fired, that he wants to buy back the team, the Adelsons and all the Dumonts are just ruining this organization. But Mark Cuban is a minority owner. It's in his best interest to have a unified front with the other ownerships whenever moves like this are made, even if he doesn't agree with them. But saying that he is confused by this shows you that he's not okay with this. He said a few years ago that if he had to choose between divorcing his own wife and trading away Luka, he would be handing those papers to his wife first thing in the morning. That shows that he is dedicated to this team and he cares about basketball. And that's the type of owner that you want. And although Mark Cuban has made many blunders in the past, after we won the championship, the team kind of fell apart. A lot of people do blame Mark Cuban, but you can't say that he did not care about this organization, whether he went in the right direction or not. He built this brick by brick by brick. and it feels like Nico Harrison, the new owners, are breaking it down brick by brick by brick. But we have to agree that Nico Harrison does still want a championship. We're not going to do a rebuild. We're not just destroying the team, even though if you may not agree with the moves that he made and the future moves that will be made in the upcoming days, it is all to bring another championship to the Dallas Mavericks organization and to the city of Dallas and for the fans. It'll be bittersweet. We won't like it. We wish it was Luka Doncic getting a championship, but that is the reality. But let me know how you feel in the comment section down below. Let it all out. Do you agree with Mark Cuban? Are you also confused? You also don't get it? How do you feel about Luka Doncic buying a $15 million home just a few weeks ago? Let me know how you feel in the comment section down below. We can have a conversation about it. But that's all I got for you guys today. Thank you for making this part to the video. Make sure to check out our Twitter and Discord. Links in the description below. Consider becoming a channel member. We are doing a giveaway every single month on this channel. Only way to enter this giveaway is to become a channel member of any tier. But until next time, y'all take care. Drink water. Peace.